Welcome back to Class and Graphs Podcast, Season 2, Episode 18.
On the Zoom today.
Zoom podcast. It's going
Yes.
to be very loose.
Yeah, I mean, looser than normal.
Yeah.
Usually it's quite put together, but today won't be necessarily the same.
No.
But there will be more Zoom podcasts to come in the future, and you can expect they'll be very similar to the normal ones. A different backdrop, to be honest. To be honest. But, I mean, is it better, worse? I mean, you can't say it's better than Andrea Pirlo and Diego Maradona, Messi, but still pretty sick.
Yeah. I guess to get into it, we have a lot of kind of random topics, but first one that happened this morning, Frank Lampard.
Frankie boy. Unfortunately.
Sacked from Chelsea Football Club.
I would have loved to see Frank get some more time to work with that team. Obviously, whatever is the Chelsea board wants, I mean, fans were starting to get a little bit, they were getting worried with his performance and how he was doing. But, I mean, you could tell based on Twitter and Instagram and social media and stuff. But I would love to see him have a little bit more time, especially being a club legend, see what he can do. Really respect him as a manager with what he's done with Derby, and then even this Chelsea team, he's had good runs, and I think they would have turned it around. I think personally the biggest reason that they didn't want to keep him is because not necessarily, I know it seems out there, but not necessarily their form, but the fact that they spent like $300 million or euros on players, and the players they actually spend the money on haven't been performing to their peak potential that they purchased them for.
Yeah, I've got like two kind of opinions on it. One, yeah, I think it's harsh. I think he should have stayed for at least the end of the season, unless they kept that form where they're only winning like once every 4 games or something. But on the other hand, the rumored Thomas Tuchel from Dortmund and PSG coming in, he's coached Pulisic. He's German, so Timo Werner and Kai Havertz might get a bit more chemistry with him as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the best fit, and I would think they would get a big bounce from him coming in as well. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think Thomas Tuchel can do a great job at that Chelsea side. He obviously last year led PSG to the Champions League final. Unfortunately, didn't win it but he lost to a great Bayern side that I think was definitely the best team in the world at the time. And yeah, I mean, he definitely could do well. I just think it's going to be interesting to see there's so much firepower on that Chelsea team. It almost seems like it's impossible to have like 11 players on the field that are doing well while also the subs aren't shocking that they're subs. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you're going to have a team that's performing, but then whoever's on the bench, you're going to be like, how are they not starting? But it's just like there's so much firepower on that team. It's hard to believe it. And like guys like Hudson-Odoi who've really been coming out of their shells lately, you want to give them time, but then there's also players that they spent tons of money on that might deserve it more based on their previous accomplishments in their career. So I think it's hard to see where that Chelsea side is going to go with the lineup they're going to use, if they're going to let players go. I don't see them bringing anyone in, especially considering how much money they spent over the summer. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond,
Mm-hmm. And kind of sticking with the Prem, there's a stat that came out, and Manchester United are the top team. They've gained the most points from losing positions in the 2021 season. That is 21 points from losing positions.
What do you mean by that? Like from when they were losing in the game?
Yeah, in the games that they have been losing in, they have gained 21 points from those games.
Like they've come back and won, you mean?
Yeah. So out of all the games that they've been losing, they've gotten 21 points, whether that be wins or draws from that.
I mean, that's definitely a reason why they're doing so well this season. They're very good at coming back against opposition,
Mm-hmm.
I also don't really know what to attribute that United side of doing so well this season, because they haven't really made a drastic change to anything since last year, except for the fact that there's no one running away with the title. So I think they're performing like they're performing better, but quite similar, you could say, to last year. It's just that no one else is running away with the title like Man City and Liverpool have in the past 3 years.
Yeah, and you probably could have guessed that that stat was with them because, you know, they're known as that team that didn't show up for the first half of every game, and then they would go and score 3 goals in the second half and win the game
Yeah.
out of nowhere. I think they've kind of they've gotten rid of that where they're actually showing up in the first half and not.
Yeah, no, they're showing up
Yeah.
for entire games for the most part. I think their confidence is on another level compared to previous seasons. But like their lineup hasn't changed other than Paul Pogba maybe getting on Ole's good side of it. But he's like his agent's been stirring up the media recently saying he's going to leave.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Paul Pogba depart from Manchester. But I mean, he's performing well, had a great goal over the weekend, or was it last week? I can't quite remember what day it was, but it was like in the last 5 days. Side netting, left foot, pretty good goal. And then again, that whole Manchester United side's doing pretty well. I think Fred is really underrated this season. Don't you agree? Just like in my opinion, after watching Fred this season, I believe he's super underrated with how he's doing. He's not.
He's improved.
He's well improved, but also like I just don't think he gets rated. Like people don't think he is as important to that United side as he is right now. Another player I think who has totally come out of their shell this season is Luke Shaw. Like compared to previous seasons in the past, Luke Shaw this season is he's miles better, and definitely could be competing for that left back spot at the Euro 2020 this summer. I don't know if Ben Chilwell. It's going to be a really hard battle between them two with how well Luke Shaw's been playing, and I know he's kind of hyped because he played so well in that game against Liverpool. But I mean, even over the season, I can tell he's been playing better. I don't know what you think on that, but personally, I think that even that whole England back line is going to be really hard to choose with the players performing right now. Even John Stones coming out of his shell. Players like is it Justin?
James Justin.
Yeah, he's English and he's looking really good this year. That whole back line and goalkeeper spots can be really hard for Euros this summer. So I was just like wondering what you think, it might look like.
Well, yeah, in terms of England and Luke Shaw, I mean, you have kind of seen there has been those stretches of games where he has played well and then he would pick up a big injury and be out for 3 months and then come back and not be as good, and then kind of that cycle with his career. It is good to see because, he's one of those Man U players I do like, and I'm glad to see him playing well as well with Fred. I've never been too fond of him, but I've seen his work rate is one of the best on the team.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's this play, I don't know if it was against Fulham in their last game or the game before, but he, the ball was in their attacking corner and he wouldn't let Robinson clear the ball or whoever the fullback was. And he put in about 3 slide tackles and it just went out for a goal kick. But, that's that effort there. He's a center midfielder and he's going all the way to their corner, pressing the team. And I think that's also very commendable.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing well, and I think he is I know you're just talking about Fred, but Luke Shaw, I think could be in the running for United captain in the next couple of years. I know he was treated quite poorly when Mourinho was there, but he's stuck with the club through a lot and through a long time. And I think that if he can continue to stay fit and become more of a leader on the team, just like leading by example. I don't feel like he yells a lot or tells players where to go, but I don't know. I just feel like he's quite a good example for players to see. He's had a lot of highs and lows in his career, and to continue pushing on, doing well for arguably one of the best clubs in Europe right now, contending for the title of the Premier League. You got to commend him for that. So I think possibly a future Manchester United captain. But on the topic of one of the best leagues in the world, which is the Premier League, I've been noticing recently that the Serie A has really picked up its level. I think that just watching all of the players. Obviously, when Ronaldo went, everyone started watching it more, but that doesn't necessarily mean the levels picked up. But just seeing the teams play, I've been watching a lot more of it recently, and I don't know what it's attributed to necessarily, but I think the level of Serie A has gone up quite a bit.
Hmm. And speaking of that, they were named, the most competitive or best league in the world by International Federation of Football History, just one of those
Yeah,
organizations. But still, to be picked over the Premier League, who are, they're thought of as the best league, and they have been for, I don't know, as long as I've been alive. I know that has
yeah.
been the Premier League. That's the main league, and then the rest are, if you do well in that league, you'll get a chance in the Premier League. So
Exactly. I think a lot of players, I mean, Messi, barring Messi, and even Ronaldo, who started out, although he started out in Lisbon, started his majority of his top flight career at Manchester United in the Premier League. Barring those two, who are absolutely unreal, a lot of players tend to finish their career or finish their prime, should I say, not their career, but like, and like, or move in their prime to the Premier League. And I mean, maybe it could be due to all the Premier League players who are entering their prime and then moving over to Inter Milan or teams like that. Also, Weston McKennie, an American, playing super well over there for
hmm
Juventus. I think it's a super tight league this year at the top, similar to the Premier League, which I think always is. There's never someone who runs away with the title like in Ligue 1 or even Premier League in the past. Um, and I think I don't. Do you know exactly when ESPN Plus got rights to Serie A?
it might have been this season
I I
or the
think I
season
think it was
before.
the season before. Probably
Yeah.
not this year because I think I watched the game last year. But that has to be part of it because you never like the Copa. What was it? The Super Copa d'Italia, Napoli, Juve.
Copa, yeah.
Yeah, it was the winner of the Coppa Italia and the winner of the Scudetto, which is so basically the winner. If
Hmm.
you're a Premier League fan, the winner of the Italian FA Cup and the winner of the Italian Premier League play each other, and that was streamed live on television, like in America. But other than that, everything's on ESPN Plus. So like obviously the Premier League has a lot more airtime on major networks, but still to get most of the Premier League games, you need to have Peacock. So it's like a similar subscription, and I think that's definitely part of it. Like people are able to watch it more. People are seeing the quality that's involved in it. La Liga is a lot harder to get to unless you have Fubo TV or BN Sports.
Yeah.
So I think less people have that because ESPN Plus, you can watch fights, you can even watch the J League on it. I think, um, but I mean,
Well,
lots more people are watching Serie A.
yeah, and I think, like you said, ESPN has picked up on that, and they picked up Bundesliga from Fox Sports. That's now on
Yeah,
ESPN. They got the Serie A, and I'd say those are
they have the FA
definitely,
Cup. You know,
yeah, yep. And I'd say those two are definitely number 2 and 3, in my opinion, of leagues behind the Premier League, which NBC Sports owns. Um, but to
so would
be
you say
honest,
Premier League is the best league in the world with what you've seen throughout
I
this?
still think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's hard. Like, I've watched quite a bit of Serie A and I'm quite a fan of it, but I think it's hard. I just watch so much of the Premier League that it's so hard to judge what's
Hmm.
better. I, if we're
Yeah, we
talking
could
about
be
better,
completely biased.
exactly. And if we're
We don't
talking
know.
about better for viewership, the Premier League's going to be there. If we're talking about better for fan base around the world, the Premier League's going to be there, barring Juventus, PSG, Bayern,
Yeah.
maybe Dortmund. And, like the only way you could say like they're better is that the league is closer, so the depth is a lot smaller. As in the worst teams in Serie A compete with the best teams versus in the Premier League. That happens, but it's maybe a little bit more rare. I don't know if that's true or not. That would be one way to measure it,
Hmm.
and the other way to measure it would be based on how good the top teams in Serie A do, and we don't know right now. Like last year, there was two Bundesliga teams and two Ligue 1 teams in the semifinals of the Champions League. So they weren't in that. So I mean, if this year we see a double Serie A final or a Serie A team even in the final, I think it brings it into question more. But you know, I don't know enough like about the actual individual players to say it is. I just enjoy watching it, definitely.
Yeah. Um, and then I guess kind of looping back to Manchester United, Jesse Lingard was recently cut from the 22-man first team Premier League team roster, which means he's no longer a first team player.
It's craziness because
Yeah.
I feel like we're seeing that trend happen a lot more. I don't know if it's that I'm just like paying attention more or that it's actually happening more. Socrates, Ozil, Jesse Lingard. There was like one other player on Arsenal that I can't remember. It was the guy who was playing the U23s that got in a fight with that 16-year-old. I still can't remember the name of
I don't know. I can't remember either.
I'm gonna look this up, but I mean, I think we're seeing it a lot more, and also at clubs where definitely, probably for a reason, but social media gets on them a lot. Man United and Arsenal get the shaft on social media.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that, like, do you think there's a correlation between the like picking the squad and also performances and how they're viewed on social media? Because like you never see teams like Liverpool gets it sometimes, but Liverpool, City, City just gets it for overspending. You know, they don't get it because they're bad or anything.
Yeah, I think definitely Arsenal and Man U are tied for the most, talked about team on, soccer, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. Because I don't know why. I think it's probably because they have the biggest fan base. But, if the Jesse Lingard or Ozil situation was happening, 20 years ago when Twitter or Instagram wasn't a thing and people can just speak their mind openly to everyone, I doubt the newspaper or media companies would be gaining that much traction on, Lingard's kind of a meme now. He's not very good.
Yeah.
I think that it had to have impacted that because there's no way he got that much worse on his own without social media impacting him. And I know he's had actually a very hard couple of years, especially with that criticism. So it is kind of sad to see, good players drop down to not even part of the team as well.
I mean, is he too arrogant to play under 23s, you think?
I think he's going to look for a new club immediately. That's what I would do. I would not want to, just waste my time in the U23s.
Right below me is an image of Glenn Murray with his hand on his head, doing one of the most classic celebrations, I think, known to man. Like, if you ask someone on the street, like, what's a celebration you'd do after your goal, they'd just be like, hand on the head.
Yeah.
But Jesse Lingard was on that team with Glenn Murray when we were in the championship, and when Glenn put the hand on the head a few times.
Played for Brighton.
He did. He started out his career at Brighton. So could we see him back? Could we see? I mean, once a seagull, always a seagull.
I feel like you should take him right away if
he was well good for us too. He was really good. I just looked it up, by the way. Yeah. I'm not. It might be Guendouzi. It might be.
He got loaned out.
No, but was that? Wait, did he get loaned out at the beginning of the season?
To Hertha Berlin.
Okay, then it's not him. I'm trying to think of who it is. I look up U16.
Well, Ceballos got in a fight with Nketiah.
Yeah, that was in training.
Yeah, he was still on the team.
No, I'm trying to look up like Arsenal player fights U16 player in under 23 game, and all that comes up is Kolasinac fighting off the robbers. Remember that happened last year? Like someone was trying to rob him and he completely dropped the dudes.
Yeah, he Ozil and him were driving their car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot happened in the Premier League. So I guess sticking to that, Odegaard, if not completely confirmed, he is set to join Arsenal on loan for the end of the season. I think it's a great signing. I think Smith Rowe might be a little upset because that's his position and he's just starting to get minutes.
The thing about Smith Rowe is he can play attacking mid the thing about Odegaard is he can play attacking mid and winger. So he could be in for that attacking mid role. Right now, I think we're seeing Lacazette sometimes drop in there, or even Dani Ceballos play a little bit more forward. I feel like I'm forgetting one name, but Odegaard can slide into that attacking mid role also. But yeah, Smith Rowe, he's young. He has proven himself quite well in the Premier League so far, but I think Martin Odegaard is a little bit older. Is he? I think he is a bit old, like a few years older. And
he's always been like that wonder kid, but I think
he's been hyped up so much that I think, and especially it's like Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. I mean, in the beginning, you have to give them time. They've just been signed
Hmm.
to the club. Whether they're going to be good or not, no one knows. But it's just the politics of football. You have to give him time, and I think he could be good. I don't think Zidane gave him enough credit for his quality. Definitely, I think he could perform well in the Premier League. But I think that happens to some players. You go to a club and you're hyped up so much. It's like what's happened to the Chelsea boys that are newly signed.
Hmm.
They're hyped up so much that it doesn't work out necessarily. And also, Real Madrid's a huge stage to arrive at. So I think we could see him at Arsenal doing well. I think we could see. I honestly think we could see a combination of him, Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, all in there together. Even
That would
even
be really fun.
even Gabriel Martinelli. And that I think puts more of a threat on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with his recent performances and how he's not been hitting the back of the net as much as he did last season. I think that definitely puts a bigger target on him.
Lacazette, he's
Yeah, but
heating up though.
I think Lacazette's doing better than normal for him in the past. Like he's definitely like obviously him at Lyon was unreal, but
Hmm.
um, with his past few seasons, I think he's definitely improved upon those. Aubameyang, though, definitely dropped since last season, and I think you could see his position, those boys being a little threat to his position.
I mean, you stick. I don't. How do you pronounce it? Our something from Lyon.
Aouar,
Yeah, you stick him in the midfield. Arsenal are. You put another center back in there. Sign another center back. I mean,
they're set, but here's the
they're
thing:
looking good.
they aren't. I think Lucas Torreira is kind of like Houssem Aouar,
Hmm.
and they didn't necessarily keep or like Lucas Torreira or Mikel Arteta didn't. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're definitely a better team than we saw last season, and they're heating up quite a bit with young talent. Bukayo Saka, I don't even need to get into it that much. He's unreal.
He
It's
is.
just what he brings to that team is incredible this season.
Hmm. Uh, and then we've got two more Premier League topics. We got two game-like situations. So Liverpool against Burnley. Uh, Barnes with the 83rd minute penalty to give Liverpool their first loss at home in 68 games.
That game was way too even. Like even till the end. Like,
What has happened to Liverpool?
did you see the tweet by Jamie Carragher that said if I was growing up in the ages of Twitter, my confidence would have been destroyed because
Oh yeah, we talked about that with Lingard
Phillips,
too.
yeah, and Phillips, the center back, he's been getting a lot of stick on Twitter and other
Hmm.
social media platforms because he hasn't been performing and like it's not even that he's not performing like he should. He's young. He's going to be sometimes inconsistent. He's still a
Yeah.
quality center back. Like he's going to grow into that role nicely, but obviously short term they need a more experienced replacement probably if they want to solidify games in the Premier League. And so I think that they probably need someone better, or they just need to keep Joel Matip fit, because Hendo and Fabinho. I mean, Hendo's not he's definitely not a center back. I think everyone can
Fabinho
agree.
has been decent.
Fabinho has been really good though. Like for a guy who's a central defensive mid, he's been really good
Yeah.
at center back. So if they can keep Joel Matip fit, I think they're okay. Honestly, personally, I think their biggest problem is going forward right now. They have the firepower to score goals. It's just something in their mind isn't clicking, and they don't have the confidence. Like, when have we ever seen Mo Salah go this many games without a goal?
The whole team. I don't think
Honestly,
they haven't
Sadio
scored.
Mane is not
Well,
performing as well as he
they
could.
did score two in the FA Cup, but like
Let's
still.
just count Premier League. Like,
Yeah.
have we ever seen that Liverpool side go that long in the Premier League without scoring? I mean, we haven't, but like, it's
Yeah,
just really
no.
odd.
Hmm. And then finally, so the Man City played Aston Villa. It was 0-0 up until. So I have my opinion about this. I don't know if you have your own, and I don't know if it's different, but so Rodri is offsides when a ball comes through. Mings chests it down, has control of it, and then loses the ball to Rodri, who was offsides, came back onside, took the ball, and then Bernardo Silva scores.
I can't comment because I did not watch the game.
Well, yeah, I just saw the clip, and so basically every single Aston Villa player on their Instagram said, "Oh, don't know what that whole offsides rule is about, but tough loss and stuff like that." I mean, they still would have lost.
Wait, are you talking about when it hit off of Mings? Like he was running, like it hit off of Mings and then they scored like later. But it wasn't a break. It was a breakaway, right?
No, so Mings, Rodri is like 20 yards offside.
Yeah.
Mings gets the ball after a failed pass from Man City. Rodri's running back behind him. Mings chests it down, is kind of has control of the ball. Rodri comes back, gets the ball, and then they have like 2 or 3 passes, and then Bernardo Silva.
So you see, I saw a photo of the freeze frame, and like kind of could see what was happening. Did it all depends on like I feel like if there's a touch, right? Then like if you're
Mings has he chests the ball and is ready to pass the ball. He has
then
control.
it doesn't then I mean I know the players are mad, but like have you ever seen Diego Costa play before? Have you ever seen Fernando Torres play before? They literally sit 10 yards behind and they wait for a mistake or something that's super common. You sit 10 yards behind, you've got your line here, you sit 10 yards behind, and then as soon as your player is about to be ready to make a pass, you just come right on and then go back.
Yep.
They can't see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're behind them. So like play to your strengths. If Mings has the ball though, like you can steal it from him. He should. Yeah. I understand as a center back, you're not used to playing in a 360-degree rotation. That's generally midfielders. Everyone like midfielders and strikers. Center backs usually have no one behind them. Wide players usually have no one behind them. It's all 180 degrees. But like still, you're a Premier League player. You got to expect that anything could come at you. And I'd say, I don't know if you agree with this, but as a Premier League center back, you should be able to play center mid in League 2, maybe.
I mean, yeah, Mings is a good ball-playing center back.
Exactly.
And to have every single Liverpool or Aston Villa player, disputing the call, I just don't understand it because to me that's a clear. The possession changed over. Rodri has the right to go after the ball, win the ball, and they can score. I don't know why they.
Was it a Bernardo Silva left-footed top left?
Yeah.
Have we ever seen a different goal from Bernardo Silva? Like, I'm actually wondering. Have we ever seen a different goal? Like, no. I don't even need to watch the goal. I know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always great goals. It's just like his thing. He will always just take a little touch, left foot, top left, curl.
I don't think I don't think he will. He will refuse to score if he cannot put it on his left.
He only scores bangers from the right side of the field that go top left, and they curve. Like they don't even knuckle; they just curve.
I can't think of another type of goal he scored.
But I mean, could you argue that he's like the best in the world at that shot?
Mahrez? I mean, that's all Mahrez does too.
I think Mahrez is a little bit more versatile with his skill. Like, I mean, Bernard, I don't know. Bernard, they're both very – that's a really interesting debate that I just realized. Why did Man City have both Riyad Mahrez and Bernardo Silva?
Well, the Monaco team of – what was that, like 2016?
2017. Yeah, it was Mbappe,
16, 17
Silva.
Yeah. I mean, that team had so much hype, like the Ajax team.
Yeah, no, totally.
I mean, Bernardo Silva was one of the best players on that team. So,
but then there's a reason he's one of the best in the world. But like
the season after, they go get Mahrez.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the best players for Leicester. Like, I mean, you could argue Jamie Vardy was better. Like, they're both very different players. Jamie Vardy scored more, but like Riyad Mahrez was a key component in that campaign when they won the league. So, I mean, that's probably why Man City get all this stick about just constantly buying players. But, yeah.
And then finally, I mean, we can talk about other stuff, but on my list, we have the MLS draft happened, or the super draft, as they call it. I don't know why they call it that. But
yeah,
Minnesota United drafted Justin McMaster, Nabila Kimbanguchi, Sean O'Hearn. So 3 draft picks. I mean, I'd be surprised if they turned out as well as Dane St. Clair, Chase Gasper, and Hassani Dotson did.
The thing about them is like I don't expect draft picks to turn out as well as those three
No,
boys
that
did.
was the best draft class like I've ever seen.
Dane definitely stepped into his role unbelievably when we needed him, when we called him from loan. Chase Gasper and Hassani Dotson, both of them. I mean, Hassani Dotson's like the face of this podcast, and even Chase Gasper, like they're both
right
unbelievable.
Here,
I think
wherever he is
in the
on
middle. He's in the middle, holding the Ballon d'Or.
Right here.
Yeah,
or on my side.
I mean,
it's flipped. So.
It might flip. I don't know. But you never know.
Viewers know.
Because I think it flips after like the recording saved, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Hassani is amazing. So like subs in, I think Hassani deserves more time, to be honest, than he gets. But subs in, does really well, fills in like every single role that we're missing on the team.
Literally,
if we don't have a left back, if you don't have a left back, he can play there. If we don't have a right back, he can play there. If we don't have a winger, he'll play there. If we don't have a center mid, he's everywhere.
I think he has played like 7 out of 11 positions.
If Dane St. Clair gets hurt, he's going to be in goal. You know what I mean? He's that kind of guy. No, and then Chase Gasper, like he doesn't seem like he came from college. He seems like a good player that, plays his part on the team really well, keeps improving. He's getting more confident on the ball, takes players on, sends in some good crosses. Really good for Minnesota United. Up the loons, scarfs up there or up there, either way. But
one of these corners.
Yes. But he's grown into his role, and I mean, again, with the MLS Super Draft, I don't pay attention. I don't know how many people actually pay attention to NCAA college soccer. It's not hyped up like any other college sports. So It's really going to be, what do the coaches think and how much playing time do they get? And then we'll be able to decide, because there's a chance we loan them out to USL teams immediately. That we realistically we might never see these guys again, or they might become MLS stars. So I think right now, can't comment on them too much. They were great in college. So I'll be interested to see how well they do with us. They'll obviously go to preseason camp and everything. They'll be doing all that. And so, it's just how they perform there and how much hype they get. And then, like, Abu Dinladi first year, great.
Good. He got injured a lot.
But, a lot of hamstrings. a lot.
Didn't quite have the hamstring strength as you would like. But
yeah, but I mean, great players his first year with us and his second year. I think he left after 2 years though.
Yeah.
I mean, I look forward to seeing how those guys do.
And I mean, this did happen. I just remembered like a week or more ago, but the FIFA 21 Team of the Year did come out.
Messi was not included. Same with ours, which Zakai made, and I think that's actually props to Zeke for like I.
Did he get it spot on?
Except
did he put Thiago in there?
No, the only player that he put in there that wasn't in the Team of the Year was Neymar for Mbappe. But it's a like for like switch, because it's whoever you think did better this past season.
Yeah.
A lot of it's based on trophies and stuff, and the only kind of club like tournament that was played was with your club. All trophies were won with your club. So Neymar and Mbappe have an equivalent amount of trophies. So it's really just who you thought played better.
Yeah, I agree with the whole team, except, I mean, it really is that Mbappe or Neymar or Messi.
I think I know why Mbappe. He's the cover star of FIFA 21.
He is.
I stole it from you.
He is the FIFA player. Like when you think of FIFA now, you think, oh, Mbappe, huge pace, 5-star skiller,
Exactly.
They kind of had to put him in there, and I'm sure he'll be in there for the next 10 years.
on the cover of the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He's gonna be in there the next 10 years.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that kind of concludes interesting first trial of a Zoom podcast. I think it was a little looser, but that's apologies to me. I was gone all weekend playing some games with my team down in Florida, so I was not super on top of getting topics or anything. But thank you, Mac, for finding a ton of really good topics, and next time we're on the Zoom, which will not be next week, we'll be back in the studio, all good. I just have to quarantine, that's why we can't be with each other. But next week we'll be there, the week after I think also. But eventually my team starts traveling quite a bit more, so then I'll have to do a lot more Zoom podcasts. But we'll get the hang of how to do it pretty quickly. And I
think that the template's going to be very entertaining for the
Oh
people
yeah,
to
totally.
see. That's got to be
Exactly.
a lot, to look at while you're watching it. So hopefully that makes up for
LeBron
it.
in a mask and a Liverpool jersey. I
Liverpool
mean,
jersey.
what if you wanted to see more in your life?
Yeah. Hmm.
Exactly. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Peace.
So yeah.